Hey, what's up, Mental Health Nation? How's everybody doing today? Hope you're having a great Thursday. Gotta mute my Come on, mute, mute, mute. There we go. All right, give me a second here. All right, just not gonna behave with me today. Hope everybody's having a great day. Sorry about that little technical issue here going on with my phone, so I'll go ahead and shut off. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you've been watching my mental health minutes this week. Gonna dive into that some today, and then I'm also gonna dive into dreams because for some reason I just felt the need to talk about that. But before I get started, gotta get the admin notes taken away. First of all, you can catch my podcast now on Reads Across America Radio. They replay them on Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. It's super easy to find. You guys should know it by now, but if you don't, I'm gonna tell you. You just go to the app store, download your favorite app, whether it's iTunes, iHeartRadio app, your Odyssey app, or TuneIn app. You search for Wreath, and then you just click follow Wreaths Across America Radio when it comes up. Tomorrow morning, I'm super excited. I'm going to be on the Mike Show at 7:30 in the morning for Wreaths Across America. So if you got that app downloaded, go ahead and jump on in the morning. I'm going to go on and I'm going to talk about my book that just it's out for pre-sales now. And so if you click on that QR code to the right, as I'm facing it, or as you're facing your computer or phone, click on that, and you can go to Amplify. They have a 20% discount. So you type in Warrior, super easy to remember, and you can save 20% on your book. And they're looking at shipping those mid-August instead of waiting until September 12th. So you can get your book a little bit earlier. And up in the far left corner, you'll see the Visa Across America QR code. You can click on that. You can donate. It's just $5 to donate for Visa Across America to ensure that those soldiers that gave all has a reef on their on their tombstone during the holidays. I think that's super important, and it's I'm proud to be part of them and part of the family for Visa Across America, because what they do really is pretty amazing on how they ensure that not only in Arlington, now my cemetery is Arlington, but just across the United States, that they ensure that those wreaths are placed on those tombstones, and it's a pretty amazing program. If you do donate five or more, if you drop your name in the comments there, let me know. I'll give you a shout out on the podcast just to say thanks and appreciate that. I know they all do, and I know you guys are out there, want to do good things, and that's something super easy you can do. I know money's tight for everybody, but if you do, also on my book, I'm doing something special here, and I'm going to announce it tomorrow. But I'm going to give you guys a preview now. I have a limited number of books that I had shipped to my house. I have them now in my possession. So if you go to my website at cliffordballman.com, you can click on the shop, and from there you can go and order a book. Shipping is not included. You'll have to pay for shipping. But I can autograph that book and I'll get it mailed out to you, and you can get those within in probably a week. Just however long it takes to ship wherever you live in the United States. So if you want a personally signed autograph book from me, go to my website, click on shop there. You can go ahead and buy as many books you want. There's a little box there. You need to spell your name, so I know how to spell your name correctly. And then if you're giving it for a gift, or if you're getting it for somebody, there's a box in there. And if you just type that in, I'll be sure and write that in. If you don't, I'm going to go out and look at your social media, and I'm going to find some things, and I'm just going to write you a personal note based on what I see from your social media. So for all you veteran trash talkers out there, you better watch what you put on Veteran Trash Talk, because I want to add that to the book if you get a book. But super excited about that. The book allows me to keep doing what I'm doing with the podcast and everything. It's hard to talk about something that you spent 2 years of your life with my good friend Bill Kramer writing and getting out and getting it to print. For a lot of you don't understand, I went with a hybrid publisher, and I did that for a reason, because I own everything to that book. They don't own nothing. Bill and I do. So that's why I went with the hybrid publisher. To me, that's important, because if you go sometimes with the big publishers, they can take hold of your story or what you want to say, and they can make changes. You don't have any say so in it. Where with us, with Amplify, they couldn't make any changes unless we agreed to it, which was super awesome, and thumbs up. So If you want a personalized signed book from me, go to my website, cliffordbauman.com, fill out the information, and I'll get those out into the mail probably within the following week, depending on how many I get in. But I only have a limited number of books that I can do that with. So once those are out, that's it. If you want me to sign you a book, you'll just have to find me in Virginia or find me doing a speaking event to get you to sign your book. So be sure and do that. So if you've been listening, watching my mental health minutes this week, one thing I talked about the other day, because I forgot to do one on Monday, I was just super busy. But one thing I was talking about is safe places, right? What do we think about when we think about a safe place, right? Let's see, you think about your home, maybe your car if you're driving or something. That's your safe place. But I went a little bit deeper with the safe place because after learning my suicide attempt and everything, come to realize that my safe place is me. It's my body. It's my mind. That is a place that I know that I can control 100%. And I think a lot of times we forget that. If we're having issues and problems and things like that, we forget that we control ourselves. And if you watch my mental health minute from today, I was driving, I was stuck in traffic, so I forgot to do it because I was just busy this morning. I thought, well, I'm sitting in traffic, Northern Virginia. They're doing road construction. So I thought, well, I'm going to do my mental health minute because it popped in my head what to say. And so if you watch that video from today, go back and watch it. It's been posted on VTT, and then I shared it on mine. I talk about we as humans have a choice, right? We can choose to heal. We can choose not to heal. We can choose to do the right thing. We can choose to do the wrong thing. We can choose to get up early. We can choose to sleep late. We can choose to make the bed. We can choose not to make the bed, unless you're in the military and you have to make the bed before you get up in the morning. That's completely different. But you know what I'm talking about. So why is he talking about this? Why is Cliff going with all this? Well, it goes back to your safe place being you. And I talked about this, I think it was on Wednesday, my mental health minute is if I am my safe place, me, Cliff Bauman, my body, my mind, my hands, my arms, I need to make my safe place strong, healthy, so it can protect me. And so, so I do yoga, I lift weights, I went back to running. I do all those things because it makes me, one, physically stronger. Two, it makes me mentally stronger because if you have a lot of anxiety or other issues going on, if you aren't physically active, our bodies are made to move, be in motion. If you're not in motion, your mind tends to wander. I know mine does. And so I have to constantly be moving, be doing something. Now, I work out for myself. I do the workouts that I do for myself. And I've discovered that yoga mentally and spiritually has helped me way more than I ever thought. And it just has completely blown my mind in yoga now for about a year. And it was interesting. I was talking to a lady and she had come to yoga class. I think it was her first or second time to class. And, she was a little bit embarrassed. And I was that person. I was embarrassed for a long time doing yoga because I couldn't reach down past my knees, but now I can put my hands flat on the floor with my legs straight. As I told her, I said, it just comes slow. I said, it's just like anything, right? You're going to change yourself. It's not a fast process. You can't go from lifting weights to a bodybuilder in 2 days, right? That takes a long time to get to that point. But the one thing you can do is be consistent with doing something every single day, right? And so what does Cliff Bauman do? Well, one thing I do is I work out. I do yoga. I do other things. And another thing that I do, and you guys heard me talk about it because I love this app, is every day I do my journaling. I don't know if you can see it. It's bad because of the light. There we go. I do my journaling on Ear Kick because I think it's important. What they've done with little AI Panda is pretty amazing. Um, And so that helps me mentally. So now I've taken care of myself physically, and I've taken care of myself physically, uh, spiritually and physically. And so I think that's important. And so I have to keep myself, because myself is my safe place. I got to keep me in good physical condition, good mental condition, uh, so I can operate optimally at the level that I can operate at. So if you are thinking, well, you know what, that kind of makes sense. What Cliff's saying, I think for a lot of times, I want to regress for a second. If you use PTSD with addiction or whatever, I think you forget sometimes that you are your own safe place, right? You control yourself. There's nobody can control you. If you truly think about it, you only control yourself. You decide if somebody else is going to control you, or if they're going to affect your life or your attitude or how you're feeling. It's just like today. I was stuck in traffic, and I had a hearing doctor's appointment because my other set of hearing aids messed up and had to send them in. Um, and I left a little bit later and stuff. And so, I was going to be late, but I wind up not being late. I thought I was because I was sitting in traffic. So, but I wasn't upset being in traffic. To me, I'm in my safe place. I'm with me. I thought, well, I'm stopped in traffic. I'm not moving anywhere for a little bit. I might as well do my mental health minute. And so I recorded the mental health minute and sent it going. Um, where I very easily could have just been angry and mad and upset and I'm going to be late for my appointment. Blah, blah, blah. And all this other stuff. One thing I learned about traffic, and if you guys do a lot of commuting back and forth to work and stuff, is this took me a while to learn. But after I did it, it made me driving so much more pleasurable when I'm in traffic. Is it no longer bothers me. If I'm stuck in traffic, there's nothing I can do about it because you can yell, scream, be mad, punch your dash, cuss at the person next to you, people cutting you off or whatever. You're still sitting there. Why not change what you're doing? Put your favorite song on the radio. Listen to your favorite podcast, The Mental Health Warrior. And just enjoy the moment. I like to roll down my window and just listen to the traffic, feel the hot breeze coming in because it was hot here today in Virginia. Um, and enjoy the moment while we're sitting there. We're moving very slowly. That took me a while to figure out to do because in Virginia, there's traffic 24/7 out here. There's never not traffic. And if you live in California, other areas where traffic's bad, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But when I would get mad and angry and upset and frustrated and blah, blah, blah because of traffic, all that did was put my mind in a bad place. And then when I got to where I was going, I was in a bad mood. And if you were going to work or somewhere else, then that could affect your whole day. And so what I said is I'm no longer going to allow outside forces affect me or my attitude for that day. Right. And it wasn't easy. It was hard to do. But eventually I've learned to not allow those things to affect my day. Because then it would affect my work and it would affect people around me. And it was just a snowball effect. And so if you're that person, if you're driving to work or, commuting or have something to do and you're very busy and something happens, right? So driving to my appointment, they had the roadblock because of road construction, right? I made it on time. I got there exactly right at noon. That's when so I walked in right at noon. Love the hearing doctors. They're great company. They really have helped me a lot with my hearing. I'm not gonna go on that tangent. But coming home, because I was in my fasting period when I left, I haven't eaten, right? So because I do my 16-hour fast every day. So coming home, I stopped by the mom's organic store, because I had to pick up a couple of things for Lloyd. And I needed to get some more red grapefruit because I eat those every day, and lemons. And Lloyd wanted some pancake batter, so I had to get some gluten-free pancake batter because he wanted pancakes this morning. I didn't have any. But anyway, so leaving that store, and I got milk. is driving home, there was a wreck on Dale Boulevard. And so traffic was backed way up, and they were taking us off Dale Boulevard into the neighborhood. Well, the neighborhood, you had to drive a while around to get back up on Dale Boulevard so I could continue home, around the wreck. And it took like an extra, I don't know, 20 minutes for me to get home. And I didn't get home till like 1:30, and I was starving and ate. And I was a little aggravated. That kind of aggravated me. But I got home. I took the groceries out of the car. I set them on the counter. I put them away. I set my wallet down, my phone down, and I took a deep breath and said, well, it's over. I'm home. Don't have to think about it no more. And I didn't think about it anymore because it's over. Why dwell on that? I mean, as angry as I was because I was delayed 15 minutes going home, I wasn't that person standing outside the car that just got broadsided because somebody didn't want to wait. And now their whole day has changed and way worse than my day was just by sitting there because of that. And now their car is destroyed because somebody else was being impatient. And now that their lives are affected by that. So then it didn't seem so bad, the fact that I got home 20 minutes later than I thought. And I'm when I get really hungry, I'm just irritable when I get hungry. That's just how I am. I've always been that way. I would not be the guy to go on Naked and Afraid or something like that. First of all, nobody would want to see me naked. And secondly, uh, I'd kill the person next to me and eat them after 15 days of not eating. I would just be going nuts. I know that already. I'm just joking, but you get my drift. But one thing that I've noticed the longer that I do the fasting diets is I just don't get as hungry. Today I fasted. It was probably almost 20 hours before I ate. So I was getting pretty hungry, but I've noticed that with my fasting, the more that I do it, I don't get as hungry. And so that's good. I've learned to kind of control that. But it has helped me lose, I was starting to get a stomach and stuff, and no matter exercise, I would lose it. The fasting diet has helped me lose that some. But if you read my little advertisement that came up for the show today, one thing I wanted to talk about is dreams. And I really, when I dream, I have really, not really weird dreams, but and my dreams are always like a movie. Does anybody have dreams like this? And it's like like I'm the person in the movie, and it's like a full length feature film when I have my dreams. And I could be doing anything. I could be traveling or some daily thing go on at the house or something. But it's always a full story. And the story always ends when I wake up. And I thought, well, that's to me, that seemed kind of weird, right? I didn't, I used to have nightmares and stuff with my PTSD, but all that kind of went away after I got treatment. And so I went out and I was just doing some search. I want to bring up the article that I found because I talked about it some. But everybody's got all their meanings of dreams and what does it mean? But if you read what I wrote for the show today, and I'm gonna find it here in a second, is I found something that Freud had said about dreams. And I want to read that to you here because I find it very interesting. It says, according to Freud, dreams represent a form of wish fulfillment and hold the key to a person's desires. He indicated the subject of a person's dream stems from reality, but dreams are identical to waking life and cannot be taken at face value. So I think sometimes I kind of agree with that. People have dreams and that kind of carries on into their day. Um, and I was thinking, well, maybe because I love to travel and I haven't traveled a whole lot, the reason my dreams are of me going to exotic locations or I've been dreaming a lot about Italy because you guys know it. In December, I'm moving to Italy. We're going to Italy for 3 years. And I've been dreaming a lot about Italy because I've been studying a lot about Italy. And maybe that's where that's coming up. But I remember back when I was going through my PTSD problems, and I didn't know how to deal with them properly. And I would have the nightmares. Now, the nightmares were related to two things that happened in my life: one, 9/11, and then two, the boat rescue. Because I would replay that boat rescue in my mind over and over. You can go back and watch the podcast. I think it was season 1, 4 or 5, was the one where I talk extensively about the boat rescue. And basically, if for people who don't know about it, and it's in my book, it's detailed in my book also, is I witnessed a barge hitting a boat. My son was 5 years old at the time, junior, who's 19 now. I dove in the water and was able to save 3 out of the 4 fishermen. One person drowned. I couldn't save him, but I kept focusing on the one that died. But in my dreams, when I would dream about that, is I was always had that man's picture that, and as I'm talking about it, I can still see the man's face. And I knew the moment that he passed away, because you just saw his life force go away, and that was really weird, and it really bothered me. For probably have a dream about it tonight now that I'm talking about it, but that bothered me, But I knew how to, over time, I knew how to deal with that, right? And know it's okay that if you have a dream and you thought about that, one thing I do with my ear kick app is if I have a dream like that or something comes up, is I journal it. And ear kick makes it easy because you can just type it in or speak text it or whatever you want to do. About that dream, because I never categorize or kept track of my dreams. And so that allows me to go back and think about it. So, and know it's okay that I had that dream and thought about it. And it's okay that if it makes me sad, it's okay that it upsets me some. Those are naturally human feelings. And I know now that if it bothers me to an extent, I just pick up my phone and call somebody and talk to them about it. And I have. I said, hey, so and so, I had this dream, and it kind of reminded me of this. Do you have a minute and can we talk about it? Or something like that. Um, where before I would internalize it, right? And then I would dwell on it. And then I would drink about it, because then I was like, I wanted to stop thinking about it. And so I turned to alcohol to stop thinking about it, which we all know is not the right thing to do. Because that didn't help me at all, because I tried to kill myself, uh, and damn near succeeded in it. That's also talked about in my book. So, with dreams, I think sometimes we read into them too much, right? Just like Freud was saying, it can mirror your life, but in reality, it's not your life. It's something maybe you want to do or see. I know when car shows are getting ready to come up, and I spent several days getting my Mustang ready for a car show or the truck. A lot of times I'll dream about that and dream about winning the trophy or not winning a trophy, stuff like that. But sometimes, and this has happened to me, and this I talk about this in the book, is, have you ever had a dream about something in the future and then it came true? I'm going to caveat that one step further. Have you ever had that dream of something happened in the future and you told other people and it came true at the moment you're with those people? That happened to me. And what happened is we were in Germany doing annual training for the National Guard in Mannheim, and we were scheduled. Me and my buddy, Steve, we always slept in the same room. We'd get up in the morning and talk about our dreams. Now, most of the time we were belligerent drunk and probably didn't remember what we dreamed about. But I had this one night, I had this very vivid dream that I've never had anything like it before, and it was weird. And I dreamed that we were 4 days late coming back from AT. I dreamed that we um made an emergency landing in an island, in a cold place. Um, and I detailed, you know, us being in the KC-135 fuel tanker and flying over, and the lights flicker, and the crew member running by, and the bell goes off, everybody getting their seats and stuff. And I talk about this to all my people, right, to all my friends, and we were talking about this, and I detailed the dream, from being 4 days late. Okay, so now we're supposed to fly out of Germany. The plane breaks and is sitting in Spain for 2 days, and then it shows up. So now we're 2 days late. Then we get on the plane and we're flying. Now, I've now talked about my dream to a lot of people, and they know the details of the dream of, and it's detailed in the book, is, um, you know, what happened from the moment that we get on that plane to the time we get off in Gander, Newfoundland. They knew that story because I told them. And now we're on the plane, and now we're flying over the Atlantic Ocean, and we're sitting there, we're kind of BSing and whatever, and then all of a sudden, the plane lights flash, and the crew member running by me, and a buddy of mine sitting next to me and told me, till the day he dies, he'll never forget the look on my face because that's how my dream started. And so from that moment on, everything that occurred from the time there to the time we made our emergency landing into Gander, Newfoundland, uh, the ones who knew about my dream knew what was going on. And we prepared the aircraft to land in the ocean because we didn't think we were going to make it. Now, there was a nor'easter going up at that time. So if we made it to the ocean that far north, if you survived the crash into the ocean, you probably not going to survive in the water more than likely. But we get into we fly into Gander. It's horrible weather. It's snowing. Wind's blowing 30, 40 miles an hour. The pilot can't see the runway. He asks them to turn the lights up brighter. There's emergency vehicles lined up on the runway, and he's over the top of it. And he just drops the plane straight down. Bam! We hit the runway. We slide sideways going down the runway like this. And a 135 fuel tanker, which you don't want the landing gear to collapse because that wouldn't be good. He stops the plane sideways from going off the end of the runway at about, I don't know, like 15 feet from the end of the runway. And we get out the plane, and all the emergency vehicles are lined up. And, it's kind of funny. So we all get inside that little terminal there. And of course, everybody wants to go get a drink. And, it was asked to the lady at the bar. I asked her, I said, well, so were you a little nervous about us coming in? And she goes, no, they either crash or refuel, sadly. And she was referring to, I don't know if you guys remember there in Gander, Newfoundland, I think it was back in 1983 or 82. I think it was 101st or 82nd Airborne. You guys can correct me on that. But they were flying home on leave, and their plane actually crashed there. And then we lost I think it was 82nd Airborne. We lost all the soldiers, passed away. And there's actually a statue at Fort Campbell, Kentucky that faces the statue there. They face each other. That was at that same airport that we went down. And so the interesting though about that is the next morning we get up and I get a knock on my hotel room door because we all made it to the hotel, and it was the commander, and he pulled me to the side and says, hey, did you have any dreams last night? I said, no, I didn't have any dreams at all. But that's kind of weird. And I'm kind of curious if anybody out there has had a similar situation where you had a dream or inclination of something's going to happen or something's going to go on, and then it came true. This was my dream happened, and then 2 weeks later we were leaving. So it was a very short amount of time. It didn't happen. I mean, I get deja vu all the time. Sometimes I'll be doing, all of a sudden I get goosebumps or a weird feeling. I'm like, wait a second. I remember this before. I remember this going on. And that seems kind of weird. I mean, you can dive into the whole world about that. And that's pretty interesting and strange when it happens. So I'm kind of curious out there, if anybody listening, have you had that happen? Have you had those kind of dreams where, they came true, and how did that make you feel? How did you process that? I process it is I guess that we knew this was going to go on, but we knew in the end that we were going to be okay and survive it. And I think maybe that's why I had the dream. I don't know why I had the dream. But it did mess with me for a little bit, not in a bad way, but it did kind of mess with me some. And so I caveat what the question is. And according to Freud, it's not a mirror of real life, but sometimes it can. Think about that for a while while you're drinking coffee, while you're listening to this. People talk about premonitions about not getting on a plane, or premonitions about this, or, just like 9/11. Had my boss not come in late that day, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now because I wouldn't be alive. I'd be dead. And so it's interesting how in life just something changes in the matrix, if you will, and then something else happens, right? Or it doesn't happen, or you survive it, right? Or this doesn't occur, that doesn't occur. Um, I remember when I was parachuting, I was skydiving, civilian, not military, and the jump master on the ground gave me the wrong size parachute, and she gave me too big of a parachute. So when I jumped out and my parachute opened, I couldn't control it, and so I got blown way off course, and then I came down in between two trees, and I was just like a ping pong on going down the two trees. I didn't get hurt. I was scratched up and fell into a stick of bush, and it tore the parachute all to hell. But I survived. My buddies thought I was dead. They come, I don't know, I was like 2 miles off course, come around and make sure I was okay. I was a little irritated by the time I got to the airport. But you know, was I scared to go back and skydive again? Nope. No. I didn't skydive again that day, but I went back up. Oh, I think it was 2 weeks later. I went back and went back out and skydived again. So, and I didn't have any other than verifying that they gave me the right size parachute because I was smarter then. Back then, I didn't know that. It was only my second jump. Verified I got the right chute, and it wasn't. It happens, right? People make mistakes, and it wasn't a deadly mistake. It wasn't going to kill me. Now the tree could have killed me, I guess, maybe, but I mean, I flared the chute, and I wasn't hitting the tree that hard. I flared it and just slowly came down. So I guess it could have been worse, but it wasn't. But it didn't keep me from doing what I was going to do, and that's skydive more. So it's just interesting how in life things can happen for the bad, things can happen for the good. And then how do you process that? That's one of the things I talk about here a lot on the Mental Health Warrior is, how do we process good information? How do you process bad information? How do you process just a little bit of information, right? If you get all your news or everything you get's all from the internet, do you only look at one source? Do you look at multiple sources? Um, do you gain your information from, one set of people, or do you gain your information from several sets of people? Right? Everybody's got their own little theories out there on everything and their own little quirks about how to do stuff. And that's fine because we're all different, right? What things that I say on my podcast may not resonate with anybody. I don't know. Resonates with some people because I know that because they put comments on Facebook and other places. I don't. I used to look at the comments on Facebook while I was doing the show, but it became a distraction to me. So I'll go through the comments after the show. So if you're making comments and you don't see me responding, I apologize for that. But with the new program, we do get them. They do pop up on screen here. So I guess Elaine, it's the first time on the listening to the podcast. So welcome. And I don't mute my podcast. Once we go live, we're live till we get done. So it's all good. So, I do my mental health minutes. And if you watch those, I try to think of a theme, for that week. And it's really, something that pops to mind. And I really think, this week, the safe place being you really came to my mind. And it's something I really thought about because, you know, in life, right? In my life, in your life, if you think about it, and I've talked about this a lot, the only thing you can control is yourself. You can't control what other people do. You can't control the weather. You can't control traffic, right? That's somebody else making a stupid decision and not waiting, was it 90 seconds at a red light or 60 seconds at a red light and decide to go through it and broadside somebody else. That's their choice and their decision to make. And that's now affected you. But, you know, so what choices and what things that go on, we can't control that. But we can control what we do, right? I can control what Cliff Bauman does, right? Just like being stuck in traffic. I could have been mad and angry, but I wasn't. And I made it on time and everything was fine. And coming home, yes, I was getting hungry and a little irritable. But I got home and, made my scrambled eggs and ate my grapefruit and everything was fine. And then I forgot about it. So as you're going down the path, and I talk about this right, when you're going down the road and you had finally decided, you know what, I think with what Cliff's talking about, I think that resonates with me a little bit. I think I'm going to treat myself more as my safe place, or as the place that I can go to and feel safe. Because a lot of times we fight ourselves, right? We fight ourselves. We fight our mind. We allow our mind to control us when in reality, you control your mind. Your mind doesn't control you. You control it. You can control your thoughts. You can control what you want to think and how you want to think things and how you want to deal with things and how you want to own up to things. And that's all on you. It's all on me, right? If I did something messed up or I screwed up or whatever, that was my choice, my decision. And I messed up and I have to live with the repercussions of it, right? Uh, and so, life has taught me that over time that's okay and that happens. And you just got to learn to let things go. But once you realize that you're your own safe place, and in reality, yourself is your best friend. Yourself is the person that's always going to be there for you, right? Because you are. But learning to not fight against yourself is hard, right? Because I did that, right? And once I learn, I guess, to be in harmony with myself and harmony with nature and harmony with universe and all those things that I've learned over the past year, it's really kind of balanced everything out. And that's where I'm going with this is you have to learn how to balance things out so you don't get so much anxiety if you go into the store or if you're a veteran like I am, if you go to a restaurant and you have to sit at a certain table or sit a certain way with your so you can get a whole view of the restaurant and those kinds of things. And that's all okay. That's fine. That's you making yourself in a safe place to go and do what you want to do. And if you feel the need to go sit in a table in the corner so you can see the whole restaurant, well then by all means do it. But in the grand scheme of things, what does it really matter? I mean, some people would say, well, you're being hyper vigilant and you're doing this and doing that. Well, it's kind of hard to break habits when you've been to combat and you've done other things, to not be that way. And there's nothing wrong with being that way. But sometimes I think we beat ourselves up too bad if we are that way because somebody else isn't that way, right? And that's one of the things I talk about is don't judge yourself to somebody else because we all walk different paths. Our lives are all different. You can even take two identical twins and their lives can be different. They can go down completely different paths. And so, you choose to do that, right? You choose to listen to my podcast. You can choose to donate to Reason Across America. You can choose to buy my book, personally autographed by me, or you can choose not to. And it's all about choice. And so, what choice are you going to make today that's going to have a positive impact on you and your life? Think about that. And along with that, if you'd like to go out to veteranstrashtalk.com, we have a lot of great merchandise out there. I know Nick's really been working hard on the website and stuff. We got the season 2 shirt. I'm wearing it today because I always wear it. It's got the Mustang on it. And of course, on the back, I have to the person behind me, you're a warrior, you are worthy, and you matter, the person in front of you. Because sometimes I think we forget about that. We're all warriors, right? You are a warrior because you chose to make yourself a safe place. You chose to make yourself better. And you chose to make the people's lives around you better also. And because of that, you're a warrior and you're worthy of that. and you matter, even if you don't think you do. You matter to somebody, and that person wants you here tomorrow. We all do. And so don't suffer in silence. Pick up the phone, call somebody, message somebody, do something to make you feel better, whatever that is. I like being outside. I like being barefooted. I like gardening. Do something today, small, that will make you feel better. Call a friend, buy my book, get a t-shirt from Veterans Trash Talk, donate to Wreaths Across America, knowing that you're doing a good thing by having a wreath put on that tombstone. Just do something. And then if you do something, throw it in the comments. Let somebody know what you did. And if you had dreams like I talked about today, put that in the comments too, because I'd like to read about it, because I think it'd be kind of interesting. We all got our own stories, and all of our stories are important. If you like my podcast, or if you missed it today, if you want to follow back up and listen, it'll be on Wreaths Across America Radio on Friday at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. You just download your favorite app, whether it's iHeartRadio app, the Odyssey app, or the TuneIn app. Search for Wreath, and then Wreaths Across America pops up, and you just click follow. I know I use the iHeartRadio app, and I listen to all the great programming they have on there, not just my podcast. But hey, I want to appreciate everybody for listening today. I hope you have a great, wonderful Thursday. This has been Real Talk Thursday with Cliff Bauman. Please go out. If you want to get a personally signed autographed book, you can go out to my website. It's the same price as the one out on Amplified. I lowered the price down. I do have only limited number though, so once that number runs out, I won't have any more to sign. So please go out and do that. Have a great, wonderful, safe weekend, and take